And now we're going.
George Bush.
Oh crap.
Yeah, Gravity Bongs did 9/11.
Set this here. Definitely have to edit out that start, not because of what you said, just because I'm throwing things.
I love Al-Qaeda!
I can't believe I used to keep one of these fuckers in my car in high school. Just clear it out real quick.
Yeah, no, I definitely had one in my car when I was a server.
And my friends would be like, dude, when I worked at Auntie Anne's in the mall.
I've been shocked that I had a gravity bong when I was a server. Do you know me?
I'm not surprised at all. I just like how this is like a junior high science experiment, right? A maid of Al-Qaeda! Oh, Jesus, Timmy.
When I worked at Auntie Anne's in the Chesterfield Town Center shopping mall food court, I feel like I said that wrong, but they would give me the pretzel bag and be like, go take pretzels down to the people at the cart. And I'd be like, cool. And halfway there, I'd run out to the parking lot and take 3 gravity bong hits. It must have still taken me 10 minutes to do that. It's not like you can do that quickly.
No, you can't.
Not at all.
Did you... Okay, so you have the gravity bong in your car. Is it loaded with water, or do you have to find out?
Bottled water.
I had
water on the side.
Oh, okay.
Well, sometimes
it's you hit a bump and you're just like, oh shit, there goes the gravity bong.
That smells. And it smells awful.
I grew up with this kid. I don't want to... I guess I shouldn't say his name. I won't say his last name, but hi, Jack. Jack was a Boy Scout, and he loved the gravity bong. He never has smoked weed in his life, but he loved the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
So I would pick him up on the way to school in 11th and 12th grade, and he would put this together for me. He'd get the bottle from under the seat, pour the water in, pack up the GB cap, pull it for me, and then I'd stop at a stop sign and, bend over? That sounds weird. I would reach over and take the hit.
He got a lot out of it.
And then he would throw the water out the window and hide it for me. It's a great Boy Scout. That's what Boy Scouts should be doing.
Side note, the best thing for weed to be broken up on is a disc golf frisbee.
Is that...
It never sticks. You can just...
I'm surprised you've never done that, Tyler.
Yeah, that actually shocks me that you're not dude, I know.
I always use a frisbee.
It's another thing that you've both done a lot of, and I'm just of course.
Now, let's see. We've got several smoking devices here for today. We got the gravity bong, the regular... Well, this is... I was going to say regular bong, but this is made of...
it's a bendy bong.
Yeah, it's silicone or whatever. Fucking Ted Cruz trying to say silicone the other day in that... rally and saying silicone instead, where he's trying to make fun of silicone boobs. And instead he was like, dyed hair and silicone. Anyway. This also glows in the dark, which I didn't know it glue in the dark. Glue? Is that? No.
Glowed.
It's not glue.
Glow in the dark. That sounds hard.
We're not even high yet.
No, this is...
No, not officially.
I didn't know that it glowed in the dark until I got it home on the first night, took a few bong hits to get ready for bed, turned off the light, and my fucking nightstand was glowing green.
I'm being abducted. Shit.
Look at this. So the regular bong. Is this your bowl, by the way?
It is not.
This was left at the at Ryan Jones's welcome back party last week.
My bowl's still at Robert Gresham's house, so fucking...
It may be boat rights. I don't know. I think bowls are
insignificant. It's boat rights.
Yeah. Does it smell like ground cheese? Not ground up cheese, just cheese you found on the ground.
These people. Okay, what do you smoke of at home? Do you have a bowl like this?
I used to. I whatever my housemates have possession of, because all of my shit gets broken and clogged. So I'm transitioning into cartridges and just doing the oil.
It kind of seems a better way to go lately.
Yeah, it's cleaner, it's smoother. I don't know. It's all around. It's more efficient.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna mix together some strawberry ice and brandy wine, which made me think of strawberry wine. So
there you go.
Yeah, that song.
Perfect.
So, Deanna Carter, is that the name of the woman that wrote that song? I Shaved My Legs for This album. Oh, we got a boing.
We're gonna
phones off, kids.
Adjust that.
But I was going to talk shit about people that just smoke out of these at home. This is good for camping and stuff. But come on. It's 2018.
Plug your ears. That's a road bowl.
Well,
that's a perfect, it's in my car.
I should add that I primarily use my homemade can of butter and any edibles that I make. And anything else that I smoke is just to supplement that, while I wait for that to kick in.
I hear you. Yeah, I'd sure do a whole lot of smoking while waiting for edibles to kick in. And then I'm like, oh, I'm really, like, I don't know.
Like my first time at the hot box, I'd forgotten that I had an edible. And there were like 7 or 8 joints being passed around.
Oh yeah, that
And
was.
then I remembered at some point, like, oh, I should probably. And, oh no! And then right before I had to go on stage, just whoosh, it all hit me at once.
Yeah, no, like the hot box has been. The hot box is responsible for a lot of times that I was just way too high. Like you gave me 2 cookies, and then like after those 2 cookies were like cookied or took effect, whatever you want to say. Molly Smithson was like, "Hey, do you want a cookie?" And I'm baked, and I'm like, "Yeah." And then as soon as I eat it, she's like, "It's medicated." I'm like, "Shit." This is should have asked.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There were plenty of one moment of smoking at the hot box I'll never forget was towards the end when I knew things were shutting down, and I thought my boss was in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I was giving dabs to Boatwright in that what we used to use as the green room before we realized there wasn't a fucking audience, so we don't need a green room for the comics at the hot box. I was in there taking dabs with Boatwright, and all of a sudden my fucking boss opened the door. And he was like, "You're not supposed to be smoking in here. You're not supposed to have people in here. What are you doing?" Like, chewing me out for this. And then all of a sudden, Kevin Perez's head pops over my boss's shoulder. Fuck, I love you, Kevin, but God, you clueless motherfucker. He looks over my boss's shoulder. "Tyler, can I get a dab? You giving dabs out in here?" I was like, "Stop it."
I like how the green room was the one room that wasn't painted green.
That's true.
Yeah. I always thought the green room was like the little area where the bathroom and the stairs were.
Well,
but then
yeah,
there's
that's-
another room that you're like, oh.
That's the room that I used to
Fancy.
have chairs in for like the comics to sit in, but then it got to the point where all the comics would go sit in the green room and we had no audience for the shows, so they were just walking out from a back room into an empty room, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I do miss you bringing your dog to the hot box because like whenever you did and you were working longer shifts, I'd like walk past because I was usually the first one there when I was hosting a show or something, and there'd just be a dog head in the window, and it always made me happy.
It was nice having him there. He's sleeping in here somewhere right now. There's something. Oh, one of my favorite hotbox moments was, as far as edibles and getting too high goes, was when we gave Thomas Lundy like 2 or 3 cookies, and then he went up on stage like an hour and a half later after it kicked in, and he just stared at us like silently for a second, and then he goes, "Why can't you white people just smoke your weed?" And then he just goes, it was like 3-minute thing about like, "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you telling me that this is going to get me high? And this is not high. This is not comfortable. This is not fun."
Yeah.
This great fucking thing about it is fantastic.
Just greens out.
Indeed. If you go back and watch the first episode of this podcast when Nathan takes his dab, for the next 5 minutes, he's literally just sitting there,
Just hyperventilating.
just breathing heavy like he's on an airplane that he thinks is going to crash. Just like, just sitting.
Good guys, I'm done.
It's going to be okay. And I just kept talking and looking at him every few seconds like, is he okay to like have a podcast going on? I think I'll just keep talking so he doesn't have to. It was a great podcast, but it was like you could see for a minute he was like, "Oh no, I shouldn't."
Yeah, there were multiple moments during my beer reviews where I kind of wish people did that to me, where they were like, "I think he's not going to remember any of this, so we should
Oh,
probably
like
pull a
that,
plug."
like the day before the roast, or the day of the roast.
Oh,
where
that
we had
one.
that like.
That was insane.
My God, I
remember we filmed part 3 inside because it had gotten dark, which should have been a big red
should have been
flag.
the sign that y'all might be done.
Stop. And I remember asking the same questions over and over again because I'd forgotten that I'd already asked those questions. So I was just like, I don't know, come up with a better answer.
If you want that there.
I do. Thank you.
Indeed. Yeah, I've heard of comics doing that on stage, being like too high. Not even when they're high, but usually when they're high. Like doing a joke, and they're in the middle of it. They're like, "Oh, I started with this joke," and it's like 15 minutes into their set, and they're like, "Shit."
I've almost done that before. I'm actually surprised I haven't done that before. What I have done is start with the punchline and then build back up into the premise like a fucking amateur.
And that's why I don't get drunk before shows anymore. Like, I'll have a beer, maybe like a mixed drink.
Yeah.
But there was an incident at the Hot Box I should not have hosted. I shouldn't have done a lot of things that night.
An incident. Oh, like you and I saying, let's both drink an entire bottle of whiskey. That was the incident.
The point I'm talking about is, like, I did a showcase at a brewery, and I got
This was a
trashed
different
before. And when I get drunk, I tend to get real introspective, and that's not what you need during a 20-minute set, is to, like, just sadden the audience. That's,
10 minutes about the time you insulted your cousin's weight and she's never gotten over it.
like,
Why did I say something like that? Why would I do that?
like, I'm pretty lucky to have a good, like, childhood. Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody wants to hear about
Yeah.
things you should have done wrong or
I've been blackout drunk twice on stage, and I think both times were at Brody Theater. The first time I had the recording before my phone got stolen, and it went pretty well. Like everyone in the audience kind of gathered, like, oh, he's probably too fucked up to be doing this, and they were kind of rooting for me to get through my set.
Yeah.
Like that's how it felt. And then I proceeded to go and run the soundboard for the rest of the night.
That's always good.
If anyone has trouble running the soundboard at Brody Theater, what's wrong with you?
He handled it.
I'm trying to, like, cleverly place this ad, so just in case somebody from Gatorade is watching this, they're like, we can sponsor
I
them.
would love to be sponsored by this particular flavor of Polar
At
Water.
this point, we'll be sponsored by Bic, and that would be dope. Like, any dispensary.
Where am
I was
putting
going to
these
say there
remnants?
was the ash. I just dump on the floor. I'll sweep it up later.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing.
Kind of like peanut shells at Five Guys.
Yeah. So there was
It's a gimmick.
The last time that I drank before going on stage, it might have been the last time I've even been drunk. I don't really remember. Was at Alberta Street Pub when it was only like my 3rd month living here or something like that. Barely had been on stage before I got way too drunk because I was like last on the list, so I had like 3 hours to drink. And I just went up, stared out at everybody, and then couldn't remember a single word of anything I had ever written in my life. It was like 20 seconds of silence, and I went, I'm sorry, I'm too drunk for this. And then I got off stage and was so embarrassed that I just went outside and drove home. I was
So
like,
mad
I
at my
gotta get the
poor
fuck
decision-making
outta here.
skills that I'm going to make a worse one.
I was like, I do not want to be
Top
here.
that.
I want to go home. I'm a failure.
Oh my God.
And I was like, there are no cops in Portland. I'll make it fine.
On that note, have you ever, like, okay, this happened to me once. I bombed so hard that I got on the bus, got like 4 stops away. I'm like, fuck, I drove here. like, I just wanted to get out of there. So I was like, no, I'm done.
It was fantastic.
Why do I have keys? Oh, shit. Like,
I've left my bike at Funhouse before and been like halfway through my walk home and like, motherfucker.
yeah. That was a
Go back
fun
and get that
realization.
bullshit.
I like when I give up and hail a lift and see my bus pass me by as I'm waiting for the lift.
Every time. Dude,
Oh, could have saved $12 there.
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I should have paid a
how it
little
goes.
bit more attention to the schedule.
Or like, but it's that weird thing that happens because when you're chilling and you're good on time, the buses they run fine.
Yeah.
But when you're like, oh shit, this is my first day of work. Oh, you're gonna be 85 minutes late. This is stupid. You know, like it
Yeah.
is. Oh, everything's shut down, but it's sunny out. How is this happening?
Right.
I had never taken a bus before I moved to Portland because Richmond is so small, or at least the part I lived in. You can just walk or ride your bike everywhere. I never had the need for it. I don't know. I hate riding the bus, but it's given me some of my best stories. There's one that I can't really tell on stage just because of the context of it. I mean, I guess I can tell. I was on the bus and this obviously, crazy woman and I were talking. And I was just going along with it because she started a conversation with me when I sat down. I wouldn't be
Really, you're too polite to like exit out of that
And
conversation.
then like
Shit, I'm
20
here.
she was, she wasn't being like she was saying stuff that mostly made sense. We were having a pretty normal conversation, but and then she started very casually calling me the F word, the second F word, the new F word, as if it was my name. So just imagine that if you can. I guess, I don't want to say it, but
It took me a while to get what the second F word was.
yeah.
Like, new.
And at first I was like, did she just call me that word? And then so it was as if, so let's just say Frank instead. So she'd be like, so I got on the bus, right, Frank? And like, I wanted to stop at Subway, Frank, and I was like, what the fuck? And this went on for 20 minutes.
It's like schizophrenia and Tourette's.
And a woman got on the bus and sat near us, and like within 10 seconds of that woman sitting, the new woman getting on the bus and sitting down, I was once again called Frank, and the new woman just slowly turns and looks over.
Is that his name?
And I
What
looked at her.
shit did I just walk into?
I just gave her a look like, it's okay. She's fine.
All those years of anthropology did not prepare me for this.
Oh, Lord. Public transit. One of my favorite, like one of the first times I ever got on the bus, this woman stood up and like this real redneck looking woman, and she goes, excuse me, I want to say something. And I was like, oh, Christ, what the fuck? And she goes, this is America. And I thought it was going to be some like anti-immigrant rant. She said, this is America. And that means you cannot take your penis out on the bus. And points at this dude sitting there. 50-year-old dude sitting there in sweatpants. He goes, leave me alone. He's like, no. And she starts fucking jawing back and forth. She's like, I didn't do anything wrong. She's like, you took your fucking dick out. I might have been the only one to see it, but you fucking did it. And the bus driver's like, what's going on back there? Do I need to call the police? And she's like, no, we're fine. And I was like,
Oh, shit.
I was on the Max one night, coming home really late, and there were these two kids who, like, prepubescent kids who were running around, and they pretty much epitomized, like, the Talladega Nights children, like, I'm all backed up in Mountain Dew!
Okay.
Except it was probably meth. And they were, like, jumping... like, I was waiting on the eastbound side, and they were, like, jumping across the tracks from the westbound side to the eastbound platform. And then they just started yelling the N-word and kicking things.
Yeah, because that's always...
So, of course, they get on the train. I'm trying to ignore them, and I think it was, like, the first time I'd ever seen a Max operator get out of the cabin and then yell at someone. And so he kind of chased him around for a little bit, like reprimanding them. And then they sat down quietly and then just sulked off at the Hollywood stop. Like, the TriMet operator struck the fear of God into them somehow.
how do you do that? I want to know how to scare kids into
Yeah,
compliance.
I would have thought I would have thought those two little kids would have like ripped me apart like piranhas.
So I was in Atlanta when this happened, and I had a drug dealer that lived in a weird part of town. And I'm over at his house, we're hanging out, he's got a barbecue going and everything. And as I'm leaving that night, he was like, hey man, there's been a lot of robberies and murders around this neighborhood, so if you see like a group of young kids, stay away. And in my head, I'm like, sure, whatever, that's cool. But then, like, I don't know if you've ever been, like, intimidated by, like, a group of 10 and 11-year-olds that you see an active gun on. You're just like, what do you do in that situation? That's fucking look for, like, just, no. That was...
They're like gremlins.
Yeah, so that was...
Yeah, like... Middle school, I know that that's slightly younger, but middle school age boys are terrifying.
Because they're just so full of...
Way too much confidence.
And if I remember my own self, the need to smash things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the way you get distortion is you turn up volume beyond what, like, the speaker output can take.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's the energy, and people who are in that early stage of development is it just creates total personal distortion. It's screaming like guitars.
Indeed.
just to feed off the whatever little testosterone they have.
Right.
It just fuels them.
When I first moved out here and was staying at the Motel 6 in Kelso, Washington for 2 weeks.
That sounds like the start of a horror movie.
It was actually fun. I was out there by myself. I had a couple friends in Portland that would like drive out and visit me and stuff a couple times, but mostly I was like secretly getting high in my motel room, and then I overheard this person in the lobby talking to one of the people that worked there. She was like, "So where should we smoke our cannabis?" And the woman that worked there was like, "Well, if you have a smoking room, just in the room." And I was like, "What? I can." I was like, "I've been hiding this shit this entire time." I was like, "I'm in Washington. It's legal."
I just got the
here."
visual of Tyler like, should I even fucking hit this? Let me get like, and then a couple next door just
Blazing
freebasing
away.
fucking.
Yeah, it's a Motel 6 in Kelso, of course. People in the one wall over are definitely fucking smoking crack and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like
I
putting
shouldn't do
towels
this at
under
all.
my.
This is.
I
I'm
don't
scared.
wanna-
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
Fucking go, Sage.
So I'd get high in my room all day, eat at the Subway across the street, and then swim in the motel pool. I forgot why I brought this up. Oh, one day I went jogging because I'm bored as shit for 2 weeks staying out in this place. So I go jogging through the woods by like Kelso High School or whatever the fuck it's called, whatever the high school out there is called. And I'm on this like dirt path through the woods, and then all of a sudden, I'm like a mile, 2 miles into the woods, and then I come onto this clearing that's filled with trailers. It's like a trailer park, but there's no obvious road into the trailer park. Like it looks from where I am, like the only path into this place, like a mile and a half, 2 miles into the woods, is the path that I just took. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I like walk into it a little bit, and I'm looking around at these trailers. There doesn't seem to be anybody there. And then I turn around because I get creeped out. Like I feel like somebody's watching me. So I turn around to run back up the path because I don't know. I freak out and stuff like that all the time.
And rightfully so, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but my imagination runs wild big time. But I turn around, like I used
and
to,
rightfully so. Like,
there were times where I would turn off the light in the hotbox and then have to run through that hallway to get to the front door in the dark, and I'd be like, "Oh,
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'd carry one of those metal rods, one of those rebar.
Like you're running in
smash-
Scooby-Doo.
I gotta ask you now that like it's done and over. What the fuck was with those metal rebar that was
I don't
just
know.
sitting in the corner for like a year and a half?
They just showed up one day and then they were there forever.
Like there was always
But-
something random in that room, like a rake or like. A,
Yeah. What was I talking about though? Where was that?
oh, Kelso running from trailers.
Okay, so
Right.
I turn
Yep.
around to go back up this path, and all of a sudden, there are 5 like 12-year-old boys on BMX bikes standing behind me, blocking my access to the path. And they've all got like dirty faces, and like you can tell they're wearing like
Damn.
their brothers' hoodies and stuff like that, and they're all just like sitting there,
South Pole hoodies,
just fucking
3XL.
staring at me. Yeah, and I'm like, they're all just staring at me, and I go, "Hey, what's up?" And none of them say a fucking word.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's not
They
God.
just stare back at me, and I'm like, still, nobody else is around but these fucking kids. And I just like walk past them and I go, "You guys have a good day." And then and then they turn and just watch me as I go up the path. And I just kept looking over my and then just booked it down that fucking path.
Yep.
So sure that these kids would kill me in the woods for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
even
that
for
is-
a
Just
reason.
to see someone
just
die.
for the fun of it.
Yeah, that is. Yep, that sounds pretty murderous.
So, weeks later, I went on a date with this girl
Who
that
lived in the trailer? No.
Well, she had moved to Portland with her 3 best friends that had grown up together in Louisiana. So we go on this date. We go see Pete Holmes actually at Helium. It was like one of the best shows I've ever fucking seen.
Nice.
And it was a date that went really well. We go back to her house, hanging out with her and all of her friends in their living room, and I start telling this story about these fucking creepy ass trailer park kids outside of Kelso, and none of them react to the story in any way whatsoever. Like, no laughs, no like, "Oh my god, that does sound scary," none of that shit. And at the end, one of them goes, "We all grew up together in a trailer park. What are
Oh.
you saying about trailer parks?" And I was like,
I'm saying something bad happened to me in one. Did you not just hear the details? Why are you defending this? Why do you want this to be part of your identity?
and I was like, just
Were
stood
they
there.
your kids? What's happening
Yeah,
here?
are
Right?
you, just tell me the whole story. Did you do this? Is this what you did? Were
Just
you
one-
these people?
4 people just staring at me dead faced like
Yeah, that's
son of a
creepy,
bitch.
dude.
And then we all talked for another 15 minutes, and then one of them was like, well, I'm going to go to bed. And then the girl I was on a date with was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go to bed too. I was like, all right, I guess I fucked up.
Well,
I'll go home.
what happened was those children haunted you. Is basically.
Oh, you're right. They were in those bodies of those women.
Yeah, they essentially just haunted you from that point forward.
Man, but all night outside of that fucking Motel 6 in Kelso, there would just be people, like, tweakers yelling at cars that pass them by on the highway ramp, yelling about why they won't give them rides. Like, they're trying to hitchhike and yelling at the people that pass them by, you motherfucker!
I only got my shirt off. Why won't you give me a lift? Like,
And I would just sit out on the little, like, walkway and just watch that for, like, an hour or so.
I'm volatile. Why won't you give me a lift?
And then I remember being like, I didn't realize the Northwest was like this. I didn't know. And I was like, I guess this is just everywhere. There are people like this everywhere.
Again, in Georgia, like, why does all horror stories have to start in, like, this happened in the South or in Kelso? But I was living in this place called Gainesville, which is, like, right outside of Atlanta. And not right outside, but I'm stopped on, like, not a major road, but, like, a pretty main neighborhood road.
Is a place called Gainesville in Georgia?
Yeah, Gainesville, Georgia.
It's a Gainesville, Georgia.
And it's like, there's not any houses near me or anything like that. But then tell me why this big old cab of a tractor trailer he just pulls up behind me and leaves the light on and just running. And I'm in my car. I'm like trying to fucking find my phone or something. And it was just, I'm gonna die.
Your gravity bomb.
Yeah, no, that was just to get out of it. Because there's certain feelings you should just avoid. And little boys staring at you, that's not good. Yeah.
I'm going to have nightmares about that.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been chased by children. I don't think that's ever happened to me.
I've been chased by adults, but not... I don't know if you guys have ever heard me tell the story about getting chased by the crazy dude that threatened me on Belmont, where I tried to, like, threaten him back, which...
I'm gonna do it.
I walked past him. He's, like, got long, scraggly hair and, you know, like, fucked up, unkempt beard. And as we walk past each other, he goes, you motherfucker, which should have been my first red flag. Like, oh, let this go. This is not a personal vendetta this dude has against you. He's obviously just nuts.
Yeah.
And it just rubbed me the wrong way. I wasn't in the mood for that. So as we walk past, I go, and I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? And he turns around and he goes, I'm going to get you, you motherfucker. I'm going to kill you, you motherfucker. And I say... And I just, like, hold up my skateboard, and I'm like, if you take a step near me, I'm going to bash your fucking head in. And then he reaches behind him like this. He goes, you think I got a knife or a gun? And then he just runs straight at me.
God!
Oh my god, like in a fighting game. Like,
it's the final boss.
Like, what do you
Like,
think?
shit.
He literally goes, what do you think I got? What do you think I got? Knife or a gun?
Well,
And then he
that's not a game of show and tell I ever want to play.
He runs at me, and I turn and just book it away from him. And he's chasing me down the sidewalk at, like, 32nd and Belmont, something like that. And I run into the credit union that's right there.
So this is daytime.
Yeah. And I bust through
daylight.
I bust through the doors. I'm like, help! Like, I'm just... And these two security guards standing... Thank God there's two security guards at this credit union, and they step in between us right then and block this dude's path, and he screams, that motherfucker, I'm going to kill that motherfucker. And then he starts yelling, I'm going to kill that N-word, pointing at me.
oh boy.
And one of the security guards is black and is just standing there, just keeping his cool, just like, hey, fucking chill, go outside. And I'm like, this dude's trying to fucking shoot me or stab me or something. I don't know what the fuck it is.
God.
They quickly call one of the people working there calls the cops, which they show up in like a few minutes and get the guy in the parking lot as he tried to like run away.
Of course,
But-
they show up at a bank pretty quick. But like somebody
Yeah.
breaks into my house, it's like
Indeed.
45 minutes later.
Yep. So he is this whole time like trying to get to me, and then there was this woman that worked at the Plaid Pantry right there at like 28th and Belmont that had like blue hair, like wavy blue hair. I'd seen her a bunch, like gotten stuff from her at the Plaid Pantry. She appears out of nowhere. I guess she was there doing her banking business. She appears out of nowhere, steps right in the dude's face, and I forget the guy's name, but let's say it was Harry. She goes, Harry, stop it! You stop it right now, Harry! And the guy just just his whole demeanor just changed. He goes, that guy was messing with me. That guy was trying to kill me. He was trying to fuck with me. He goes, I don't fucking believe that, Harry. You come in my store all the time and start shit. I don't believe that for a second. You got to stop doing this shit. And the guy's like, I didn't do anything. And then that's when the cops show up and he fucking tries to book it and they just like stop him in the parking lot and get my statement. And I was like, I don't like. The cop was like, so tell me exactly what happened. I was like, he called me a motherfucker on the sidewalk and I kind of threatened him back. And he was like, well, don't do that in the future. And I was like, yeah, I probably won't.
Most Portland answer.
Oh yeah, have I ever told you my story about trying to stop a shoplifter and the cops being like, "You fucking dumbass."
Yep.
Or it's just
The GB.
oh yeah.
Coming at you.
Well, so this guy comes into the store. I worked at a retail store in Ocean City, and Ocean City, New Jersey.
Oh, I thought it was Maryland.
No,
But
yeah, I mean,
it's probably not much better.
I mean, there's very silly things about both. And this guy comes in, and he's acting overly friendly, and then he tries to leave, sets off the alarm. My manager gets him to show us that he stole 2 of the same shirts and 2 of the same pairs of pants. So alarm bells are ringing at this point, like figurative and literal. And so she calls the cops, and he goes to leave, and he's crying and he's pleading, no, please, no. And I stupidly, instinctively start walking towards him, and I'm like, no, man, it'd be better if you stayed. And I put my hands on him, and that's rule number 1. Don't do that. It's not worth it.
Don't touch crazy.
And so he pulls me outside because I'm still holding on to him, and he's begging and he's pleading and he's crying. And I'm like, no, man, you got to stay. And he takes his long fingernails and scrapes them down the underside of my arm. And that's how I got this scar now. That was a different scary time. But he takes them, he gently slides them, not aggressively, gently slides them down the underside of my arm and whispers into my ear, I have AIDS. And so that's when I run back inside.
Oh my god.
And then he
Pretty
apparently
effective.
got tackled by a cop a block away. And the
Christ.
cop comes back in, the arresting cop, because he's got paperwork, and he's like, all right, I need you to describe exactly to me what happened to you, and you can grab me and do what he did to you. And so
You don't want this, officer.
This cop is like, I'm so bored with my job. You can grab
I
me.
think I was
Do
like
anyone.
I think I was like 19, and I just slide my fingernails down the underside of an Ocean City, New Jersey police officer's arm and whisper, I have AIDS. And then they took me. I had to go
To
back.
jail? Because that's
Yeah.
creepy.
Well, I had to go back.
That didn't happen. You're under arrest. You
No, first of all, he's like, all right. He goes, first of all, you don't have AIDS. I'm like, I know. It was really more the whole creepiness around the situation that let me know I should get out of it. And he's like, and never ever touch them again. That's fucking stupid. I'm like, I know. Sorry. And so then they made me go back to the station, and I could hear him pleading and screaming and crying from his holding cell, and all of the cops were laughing
Man.
because he was the only person there that night.
I've never had
memories. Fuck.
I'm the sort of retail worker that's like, I'm going to just pretend like I didn't even notice the shoplifting that's happening. You guys can figure that out on inventory. I don't know. I didn't see anything about that. At my job now, I'm supposed to keep an eye on the security cameras in case anybody tries to go smoke their weed in our parking lot. So I'm like, yeah, that's really what I want to go do, is go out there during my shift and be like, hey, bro, you can't be smoking out here, and get in some argument with some... Anybody that thinks it's okay to just walk right outside of a dispensary and light up is probably not a reasonable person in the
Right.
first place.
Right.
By the way, these cookies are trash. God awful.
These, though, famous Amos.
I got them to compare between, because I thought it was really I thought it was very presumptuous of Pillsbury to think they could go up against Famous Amos in the tiny cookie category. And I was right. The Pillsbury ones are trash. But Famous Amos still good after all these years.
Large ambitions, small cookies.
No good, right? They taste like they're undercooked to me. Excuse me. I guess they're soft baked. I guess we're comparing apples and oranges
Pretty
here.
soft baked right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to do the GB?
Damn
I'm
moth.
good.
Damn moth in here. Let's see.
right.
See, this podcast has been going way longer than I expect every time because we get to rambling. And then, half an hour goes by. I'm going to take one or two more hits here. This is still recording, right? Yeah. And then we'll draw or paint each other. Usually
On paper.
Oh, well, then I'm out, guys. I thought this was
Usually, the past couple of times I've been asking online on Facebook for people to give us questions to ask the guests, but it's all just been Boatwright asking porn questions.
Of course.
Yep. Oh,
Low battery.
I gotta get my. Hold on. You guys keep it up.
We won't. This is gonna get edited out.
Huh.
Because I gotta check my phone.
That's the thing, though. I haven't really figured out how to edit out the middle of one of these podcasts. Just like the start or the end. We'll be alright, though. Nope.
He's going to try to do that, and it's going to get the first 10 minutes of us stoned and the last 10 minutes, or like, of us smoking. The last 10 minutes was just high as shit leaving. Like, I did the wrong part, but this turned out great, guys.
All right. So we have determined that Amos is more famous
Oh, yeah, Amos is
than Pillsbury,
the winner.
for sure.
Advancing to the round of 16. We've got a lot more cookies to eat, guys.
In France,
Famous
it's-
Amos or Nutter Butters?
Damn. Still famous Amos.
Okay.
But only like this much of a difference.
Alright. Take on Vienna fingers, almost said sausages. Different thing.
Chocolate chip cookies or cured sausages?
Not even cured that well.
Famous Amos
Still
in
alien.
France. All right, let's see. One
No, the
more.
little Vienna fingers. Those little. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the inside? Some sort of cream filling? Is that what they're like, or are they just cookies?
I think they got like a little.
I think there's a cream filling.
Little
There's a little
strawberry
cremature in
cream
there.
Cremature?
Cremature.
Is that a French crematorium? Is that
when they
crematory-
cremate you too
crematorium?
early?
What was the word you said again?
Oh fuck! I'm trying to remember it now.
Wait, cremature or the
Yeah.
Cremature.
premature cremation? There you
That's what
go.
happened when stoners
When
get
you wake
together.
up in a fiery coffin, you're like, oh, god damn it. Prematurity.
And then you chuckle and you're like, and then you suffocate.
Oh, Christ. So, if you go back far enough, human ancestors didn't bury their dead, and then we started to for a while, or not for a while. We have been since then, but it wasn't until recently that we had like legit science to tell that people were, or not science, but medicine to tell that people were dead for sure before we buried them. There's a long stretch there. I think you either want to die, or you want to live within our era or the pre-burying people era, but that middle section is risky. You might get buried alive. High risk.
Okay.
Because if it was back in the day where they just laid you on some rocks and then walked off, you could wake up like 12 hours later and be like,
Oh
just
shit! And then you're
step
like
off the
a
rocks.
legend.
yeah,
Yeah, and like
there must have been.
there was a time when they had bells
Yo,
that they
that's-
put in coffins, and it's like they didn't think to just maybe like stop burying people if this was an issue.
Right. It just begs the question: like, were there like really Greek gods and goddesses, or were they just people that like they thought, oh, he's dead, and they weren't?
and then just goes back up.
Just, I was really hurt, but yo,
Or like, hey, I think he might. No, he's dead. Like, but he's a terrible.
just heard him
he's
cough. No,
We think he's a
gone.
guy,
He's
well, he
dead.
can't,
He
can't talk or walk. He seems still pretty fucked up. Now he's a god now.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not going to be in good shape no
It's
matter
gonna be
what.
crazy, like comments like, "That's not God, it's mythology," and freak out.
What?
I tried it. I had a thought.
There won't be comments.
There will be 7 views.
3 of them by me.
Hi, Robert Gresham. Hi, Chris Cox. It's like the only 2 people that consistently seem to watch these things. Appreciate
Well, good for
you guys
them.
watching. But yeah, there will be very few views. That's okay. Let's see. Anybody still need the feel to get higher is what I almost said. Feel the need to get
I think that answers the question.
Yeah, no, I feel like we are.
Right, I'm gonna hit this. I've been when I watched the video of the last one, I noticed that my face gets a very weaselly look to it when I hit a bong because like my cheeks get sucked in, and now I'm super self-conscious about it.
Oh God.
Like,
Great, now I'm going to
I
be
shouldn't have brought it
self-conscious about how I hit this bowl.
Yeah.
Do you need the little touch?
No, I'm good.
I have a deviated septum, so whenever I try to blow smoke out of my nose, it's like something that's too pressurized and it's not, you know. I start to blow it out my nose and then my body's like, pah! It's like you're not expelling it fast enough. Anyway, let's get some of this paper handed out here.
Can I take a piss before we?
Yeah. Yeah. You can do it right here.
Different kind of water,
He'll
guys.
sweep it up later. Like
Yep.
the peanut shells at Five Guys.
Forward and then left. It would have been funny to send him down into the basement. And then been like, that whole thing's the bathroom. Just find the toilet.
It'd be like a really tame version of Saw. The challenge is to just find the toilet in a large room that may or may not have other people in it.
Find it.
And then the toilet doesn't work.
And that's a 2-hour movie. That's the new Saw.
And also a frequent nightmare that I used to have.
I love talking about nightmares. Some people don't like talking about dreams. I'm like, fuck that. The human brain is fascinating. I want to hear people's nightmares, especially.
Well, when my girlfriend, my ex, would talk about dreams, it was always to blame me for something.
Oh, shit.
She'd roll over and she'd be like, "So I had a dream last night,"
Excuse me.
and I'd immediately know, like, okay, what did I do in your dream?
Yep.
I'm like, you cheated on me with blah blah blah.
With a dragon. And the dragon was my aunt. And then we were in my basement that you never finished painting.
Basically, you did a fun thing without me.
Yeah.
Um,
I've had a couple of girlfriends that have just been mad at me in the morning, and then a few hours I've been like, "Oh, I'm mad at you because you cheated on me in my dream." I'm like, "Oh, well."
So, because of that, I was put off from talking about dreams for a while.
I see.
But since then, I've gotten back into it. Anytime I have like a really bad like mental health episode, like where with my OCD and my anger, I will dream of tornadoes. That
Oh,
night,
really?
like tons of tornadoes.
So your dog's passed out with the feet straight up in the air.
Oh, I love
On the
that.
back. That's why I love
Amazing.
dogs. Like, what are you doing? What are
Yep.
you doing? Like, all right.
What are you doing,
Bad.
motherfucker?
Sorry I asked.
Why are you coming in my house? So you can use colored pencils or watercolor or both. I think that Bradley did a mixture of the two. I forgot to get
Good
the
for
brushes, but they're right over there. And I have like pins and stuff if you want to.
I'm gonna say it. The
sketches.
watercolors make me anxious.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
I'm gonna use colored pencils.
Yeah,
You're going to stick with colored pencils too?
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Let's all do colored pencils so I don't have to fuck with the damn
Yeah.
brushes. Let me
I've
find.
already had enough.
Okay, I don't need to find any.
We're all on
I'll
the
just
same
use-
page regarding the painting.
Get on the same page. I'm sorry, y'all. That
All right, so who's drawing who?
I think I can get like this view, so I'll try to do like sides of both of y'all.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna do both? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean,
You can do whatever. Usually it's just one person does one
one
person.
person.
But if you want to get freaky with it,
Get freaky with it. I'm going to attempt to draw one of you, and we're going to decide
Who it is.
who it most
He's
resembles.
explaining the show again. So we get high, and then
I don't know which one I'm going to attempt to draw. I'm just going to try to interpret a person onto the page.
All right, then-
Because I am garbage at visual art.
That's the fun of this.
Fair.
is
My
seeing
own
what
mother
people
in
come up
6th
with.
grade called me art retarded, and it crushed me. So I
Did she pushed you?
it crushed me.
Oh, I think
So
you said that she pushed you. Keep it out of here. Like,
and then all the other kids laughed.
do you have a normal pencil as well?
Maybe.
Alright, I'll take that as a no.
There could be. That's
is
what I
a
was looking for. You
Sharpie.
can use that if you want. Sharpie pen.
I would love to use a Sharpie.
Yeah, go for that. I'm just going to
So
use...
who are you gonna draw today?
I'm actually going to do a two-headed dragon with... You're each going to be
Oh,
represented.
shit, okay.
Yeah. And it might look like a dragon. It might look more like a hippopotamus. There's no real
that
way
a
to know
puppy?
how it's going to come out.
Sweet. What
My
colors
way-
do you want?
I will start off with red.
Go with the green.
Which red? There's a couple red.
This one.
That red.
Boop, bada, boom. Let me get this little thing off the screen. It bothers me. All right. Let's see.
Alright, let's see. This is gonna be. I might just bail and do one of these.
Am I-
This is gonna be difficult. Y'all keep moving and it's fucking up my perception.
I kept turning and looking at Eric. Eric Edquist when we were doing it, and then he would stop and look at me and smile. It made me-
pose a little bit.
I don't even think he was trying to be funny. It was just him trying to be helpful, and it was very funny. My weird little private middle school I went to, St. Michael's. Our mascot was a dragon, which is weird because I think St. Michael is famous for killing a dragon. A little strange. It's like if you had Eric Trump make a school and it was like a dead rhinoceros was his mascot. Anyway, I drew this stupid looking dragon that looked way more like an alligator, and they made it like the cover of our art magazine, which really tells you how low the quality was. God, I still have one of those goddamn art magazines somewhere in my parents' house. Got like 3 of my drawings in it, and they're terrible. I don't know why they put them in. There are only like 40 of us, so maybe that's it's
The
like
best looking drawings I ever did as a child were when I had like a really good how to draw manga book, and I just followed that very closely.
yeah. I entered this fucking contest when I was a kid to draw a one panel. You know, I want to say cartoon, but I guess that's not. You know, draw something that represented like kids' health. So I just traced. What's his name? Not Buster Bunny, but the one from Tiny Toons. What's his name? Or is that Buster? No, Buster Bunny is the
Bradley Bunny?
Bradley Bunny. Let's just call him Tiny Bunny.
Tiny Bunny.
So I drew him holding a fucking carrot, and it said, like, eat healthy, be healthy. And I fucking won. And then as I was getting the little, like, gift certificate and award for it, this other kid was like, he traced that. And the judge was like, did you trace this? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, you can't trace something. You got to draw it freehand. I was like, not in any of the rules. And my grandmother lost her mind. She said, that's not in the rules.
Oh my gosh.
So I got it taken away from me. They gave it to the next kid that got the most votes. I was like, you motherfuckers. I'm not over it. My mom would tell me, if she heard me telling this story right now, she'd be like, are you seriously still hung up on this? What was that noise? It's like a raccoon trying to get in the house.
It's just boat, right? No. That'd be fucked up in the back, or you just see him pop up over Tyler's shoulder.
Oh, it's
Squirrels.
a squirrel. Motherfucking. When I found out recently that squirrels eat other animals, I was like seriously blown away by that shit. I still can't really like picture it. I certainly don't trust them as much as I used to.
Do we have an eraser of sorts? They don't really work on card pieces, though.
Damn
flaws. Alright.
It's okay. No matter
We'll see
how
how
badly
this-
you do, it won't be as bad as the worst one that was done.
That sounds like a challenge.
Oh, I almost drew two dragon heads. I'm glad I remembered that it's supposed to be you guys, or I would have really fucked up. Just sitting here drawing.
Drawn like a
I'm just
dragon,
drawing.
like a medieval scene. I saw so much Game of Thrones last night. Sorry.
I can't wait to color this in. It's gonna be dope.
So for this picture, you had a war injury. Sorry. That's what happened.
Oh, was it me?
Yeah, I'm just doing you because like I can't get both of them. They're moving back and forth.
Them? You mean us?
Yeah, them. I'm talking to them, but referring to y'all.
Oh, you were talking to the camera. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot
I'm trying
there
to-
was a camera going on. Camera going on? That's
Fourth
not how
wall
people say
break.
that. Let's see. Color in.
God, your arms are so weirdly long in this. All right.
Thought you were just gonna say like in reality. I was like, really? I'm not very good at drawing dragon feet. I can tell you that right now. Dragon feet. That weird little. I always call it that weird little private middle school I went to. I want people to know that it was strange. My parents had me like visit there when I was like one day in 5th grade, spend a day like shadowing somebody, and at the end of the day they were like, "So what'd you think?" And I was like, "It was fine." And then like 6 months later they're like, "Okay, we signed you up for St. Michael's. You'll be starting there." I was like, "What?" And they were like, "You told us you wanted to go to that private school." And I was like, "No, I fucking didn't." But it turned out okay. But when I found out I was going there, because when that day I visited and I was like, "This place is weird. There are so few kids," and like the teachers are so involved in their lives.
They're good teachers, fucking stupid idiots, caring about this.
No, I went to a
Kids.
really good elementary school, but the middle school I would have gone to otherwise was pretty shitty. So, good move on my parents. I raised a fucking fuss, though. I was like, I don't want to go to a private school. It's cool, though. It's weird, like, how different the economic situation of the people that went there were. There was, like, obviously, you know, it was a private school. Obviously, there weren't any like working class people there. I'm not gonna pretend like we had some sort of economic diversity, but there were like super rich kids,
Right.
and then like upper middle class kids. And when I went to this one girl's house for her birthday, I was like, "This is a 4-story house with like they had their own lake in the backyard, like not a pond, like a full fucking lake." And I was like, "How much of this, like, of the lake, like, how much of this is y'all's land?" And she was like, "All of it goes all the way back to the woods." I was like, "What?" Realized people got old Richmond money. It's weird. They owned an Ultrazone laser quest sort of thing. I don't know what people call it around here. Laser tag. But at the height of that shit. Where that
Oh yeah.
that was like 1995.
I had multiple birthdays at bowling alleys and
Bowling
laser
alley
tag.
birthdays. One time I stayed behind one waiting for my parents to pick me up, and they were like 30 minutes late, and I just kept bowling. Even though the rest of the birthday party had ended and everybody had left, I just kept doing it in the lane we were in. And then as I was going to leave, they, like the people that worked there, was like, you owe like $40.
Give us our
I was like, I was with the birthday party. They were like, yeah, it ended like a long time ago.
should have left. I don't know why you're.
Mom had to pay it. Okay, gonna color in the bodies first. The body, the one body.
Starting to come together.
Let's see. Okay, 53 minutes is what we're at. Why is this longer than the video? Weird.
Because we paused.
Did we pause the video?
at one point?
I don't think so.
I don't think we did.
Is this running? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Or maybe it really does. Who knows?
You can
We'll figure it out.
slide the tracks together.
Yeah. Just slide them tracks together. I'm more worried about the
mean, it's
battery
a lot.
running out on the recorder, so let's try to wrap this up in under an hour.
Cool.
I'm close to being done ish.
Yeah, I just gotta do y'all's heads. That shouldn't take me too long. It's fun.
Absolutely.
This is definitely my favorite podcast to do. Out of like all the stuff that I've ever done before. Oh, I got hash oil on the table. It's getting stuck to the back of the paper. That's what that was. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Keith,
Why did I take this one?
Keith, I don't know what to do with you, man.
You know what? I've heard that so many times. I should be used to it, but it still hurts every time.
What kind of nose you got? Normal.
Default.
Average.
With light beardage. Well, average beardage. Nope. You have more of a chin than that. More of a chin than what I gave you. And you're not that scruffy. Oh well. No one said it was good. Just that, that it exists. You got some swoopy hair. Okay. Looking more like Keith. What color are your eyes?
Blue. I was going to ask you the same
Cool. My eyes are also blue. Fucking Eric Edquist told me hazel when I asked him, and I was like, "You asshole."
thing. He would.
I was like, "Give me blue, green, or brown." Look, you see the colors I have. Do you see a hazel colored pencil? Man, I made the head way too small for the neck. I'm gonna have to really skinify the neck.
Long neck Cameron.
Default nose on Ben as well. Normal. Someone else is gonna come on here and be a guest, and I'm not gonna say default, and they're gonna be upset with me. Let's see. I know what your beard looks like. I do want to make the mustache look unique from the beard. Like we've got two separate things going on.
I need the black whenever you get done with it, good sir.
That'd be just as
With that or the Sharpie? Mixed media.
Yeah, sure.
Well, then what kind of
Mixed
hat you
media.
got on
See,
there?
you're using
Portland
big
Timbers?
college words there.
It looks more like a stupid conductor's hat. Oh well. Does not look like a baseball cap, tell you that. And what was your eye color again, Ben?
Blue.
Blue. Cool. Keeping it simple. Alright, we're at 55 minutes. That's still running. I just do the whole circles blue instead of giving people realistic eyeballs these days.
Do you put everybody's artwork up on the fridge?
I'm going to put them in a scrapbook.
Nice.
Yeah. Still need that black pencil?
No. No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Pardon me.
You're
Keith,
cool.
can you hand me the purple?
The purple. The deep purple?
Yeah,
This one
whatever
right
that
here? The
is.
violet purple?
Violet.
Okay. He looks like a mushroom. That fucking neck that I had to make that skinny all
You
of a
know,
sudden.
this kind of looks like a kid with cancer drew this. So, my bad.
What else to do with this?
Okay, now I just gotta color in the hair. Give you guys.
Looking at this drawing, I feel the same way I do when I hear a Chad joke. Chad Allen Jenna.
Oh, I thought you
Shout out
meant.
to him and his awful jokes.
I don't know if I've ever seen Chad actually on stage. Never been on the same.
Well,
open
the shows
mic.
keep getting canceled, so
Oh, you don't even have a nose on this.
Let's see, kind of reddish, brown hair. Oh, your hair's not that fucking red. Oh well. You are redheaded as shit today, Ben.
that's fine.
In a way that nobody is. Blood red.
He's been out in the sun for a while.
I guess I'll do more blue.
Look at these.
Needs some ears too, probably.
Peach, what they used to call skin colored or whatever. What did they used to call
Flesh.
the flesh, not skin? That's somehow
colored.
creepier.
That's super creepy.
Well, flesh is also a weird name for a color on a fucking pencil. Anyway, light brown going for Keith here. Coming out more orangish looking. Okay. And why not?
I just looked over and saw that he drew a dragon dangle.
Let's see. Oh, and sign it at the bottom if you would.
Absolutely.
And label who you drew.
This kind of looks like one of those like
Because I
my
will forget.
parents' photos. The kids draw at like camp.
If I got
Do you
the-
remember your
if my
parents?
kids sent me this in the mail from camp, I'd be like, "We're gonna go pick them up."
Give me them.
All right, let's see. What's today's date?
Shit. Unprofessional, but the 13th.
Okay. I'm gonna put the date on this. 9/13/18. Okay, I'm done. I love revealing these to the camera. All right, Keith. Tyler with a question mark. Okay.
It's a good pass rate. It's awful.
You gotta get it close to the camera so everybody can see.
I had to like
You got the
very prominent leg and arm hair.
yep, very prominent leg and arm
very
hair.
prominent.
That's very accurate.
Um,
You got a strawberry cough T-shirt on. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Oh, I was like, why am I wearing a bow tie? That's my chest hair.
that is your
sticking
chest hair. Once again, prominent. Prominent.
All right, I've got the two-headed dragon with the dick. And
With it.
I made the heads too small for the necks. Well, that's Benjamin
Got a
Tier and
little
Keith
D&D.
Cameron. Yep.
Dangles and dragons.
$200 on Etsy if you
Right.
want it.
So, this is Tyler as Sadbird.
Tyler as
I
a.
mean, y'all got
me as
creative. I
a-
just straight up drew an awful
as a
version
sad
of it. I could've made something else.
How did I not look over at what you were drawing at any point?
I
and
don't
see-
know. I just kept going.
Tyler is Sadbird.
As Sadbird.
Oh, Tyler as Sadbird.
Mm-hmm.
What's this?
Border.
Just well,
It's
that,
an emotional
My own
barrier.
flair, Tyler.
that concludes episode what 3 of
You're
Happy
asking
Little
us.
Tree. I think it's episode 3. Yeah, of Happy Little
I
Tree.
think-
Let's
I
show.
think so.
So, thanks for watching. If you did, bye Robert, bye Chris.